Alright, cool. Alright, let's launch some Tekken, man. Oh. Oh, damn, I need to charge my phone. Keep forgetting. Oh shit, I forgot. I need to fix this too. Alright, cool. That's that. Alright, cool. There's that. Alright, let's get to it. What was I doing again? Let's go practice real quick, actually. You warm up these fingers, man. That's what I should do. This shit is so annoying. Is this the default settings? I'll fuck around. Hopefully that'll stop my tearing. That shit was annoying. cool. Oh, what the hell? Lee Chow Lin. Alright, let's see here.
Get ready for the next battle.
Okay, so he's one of them that I can't do that on. I can't do my third slap. Huh. What is that? What? Yo, no way did I just fucking learn something new. Oh. Yo, I just fucking learned a new... Yo! Dude, I love learning new shit with this character, man. Honestly. So now it's time to learn how to input this shit. Let me see if we have like a hidden moves list or something.
next up is Claudio. Let's jump into the first tip, and we love trades. Why do we love trades? Because they give us so much. Now we talk about Claudio's. What's up guys, I hope you had a great day and welcome to the next episode of 5 minutes 5 tips. And of course we have to cover my mains first. We did Lydia, next up is Claudio. Let's jump into the first tip, and we love trades. Why do we love trades? Because they give us so much. Now we talk about Claudio's back to 3. On counter it, the second one is on counter it, the second one is plus 14, giving you a heat engage, giving you whatever, wall carry or whatever. Now if the opponent likes to jab afterwards, there is a specific timing, there's a very specific timing where you can delay back 3 just enough to trade with a jab. Why do we want to have that? Whoops. You trade with a jab, try, hit the timing, we are plus 19 and get a guaranteed twin pistons for so much damage. Tip
Damn.
number 2. What do we do? Claudio is exceptionally strong at the wall, and people tend to panic a lot or try to use their common tools in order to escape the pressure. Now let's say you hit a side zip for a hit. So many people, in my experience, like to heat burst after that because they escape the pressure. They escape a lot of tools, like if I do this into back 3, they get the heat burst. If I do this into try to down for 3, they get the heat burst. Or like, I don't know, whoops, if we do back 1.
Hold on, homie said back 3-3. I've never done back 3-3. Oh.
Such a good tool to just escape the pressure, escape the wall, and start off their offense since they're in heat. Now if you see your opponent likes to use that, and a very good tool to stuff that is to use your 12 frame hit confirmable wall splat. And what I mean by that is forward 2-1, 1+2. It's fully countered natural and it's confirmable. So let's say we hit side zip 4 at the wall and our opponent does heat burst. What you do now is that for a full combo.
Yo, it's funny, I'm just getting excited. Okay. Lock in, bro.
And our opponent does heat burst. What you do now
At the wall though, right? Ah, Doug. Learning this character gets me excited, man.
is that for a full combo and hit confirm. The confirm window is very easy since they've increased that in Season 2, and you see all the power crush sparks that you hit the opponent out of. Tip number 3. We love trades. We covered the trade already and we talk about the next one. The next one is about heat smash. If your heat smash trades with a jab, it will cancel you out of the animation. Heat smash being 18 frames, meaning it's a perfect window after running 1+2, which is +8 on block. Now let's say we do running 1+2 into heat smash, whoops, we do running 1+2 into heat smash, and it trades with a jab. Do you see the knockdown? Do you see the frames? +36. So what we do here is we can pick up with down back 1+2 for a full combo. Tip 4. Some guys know that down 3 is a rather weak law of Claudio. It is -17 on block, meaning it's launch punishable. A lot of people know that, and a lot of people can also tend to just launch it on block. Now what is good about this move? There is one specific thing, and it's the range. It's a long range kick, meaning you have spacing. If you try to space that low at the maximum range, while standing punishers can actually whiff, and what you get is you punish them for their attempt to punish. So try to use the low in a rather maximum distance way. And try to punish their while standing attempt. That doesn't only work for like launches. Let's say your opponent is doesn't know that it's launch punishable and tries to punish with a generic while standing 4. That also tends to whiff on maximum range. So keep that in mind. Last tip is about Claudio's down back 4-3. This is a bit of a tip for more higher level Claudios, but that low tends to not be used a lot on high level because it is launch punishable. If the opponent blocks that low, you get fully comboed, and a lot of people on high level tend to know that. Now, a special tip that you need to start using, especially at high level, is to only use the first one. Since a lot of people don't actually confirm if they block both hits, they will just see that you did the first one, they blocked it, and will try to launch. So instead of doing both hits, you do this, they will try to launch, and same as before, you will be able to punish them for their punish attempt. Sounds quirky at first, but trust me, it's gonna work, especially when people know if they can launch that. That was it with 5 minutes, 5 tips for Claudio. Thank you for watching and see you in the next episode.
That was good.
What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Tekken 8 Beginner's Guide. Today we are looking at Claudio. Now, as always, I gotta perfect for beginners, mainly because he's simple, doesn't have any particularly high execution demands, but he is very effective, and he doesn't really teach you bad habits like some other characters. He doesn't really have like a ton of strings that he spams. He's more of a single hit based character who plays like a very fundamental game of Tekken. So that's why I really like him. Again, very easy, very simple. So we're going to start by looking at his pokes, and then we're going to move on to his launchers, heat engagers, and all that other fun stuff. So let's begin. Start with his jab, as always. His jab isn't actually the strongest. Its range is it's pretty average, pretty mediocre. But as we've discussed on every Tekken video so far, the jab is very important. So jab is just pressing 1. If we set him to block, gives you +1. Most important part of like any character's game plan in Tekken, just jabbing to get your turn back and force a reaction out of your opponent. So we have jabbing, and then we have, as usual, so we have a couple follow-ups off of this jab. We can do 1-2 just for a quick extra hit. High, so it means it can't be ducked, so you don't want to be throwing this one around too much against good players because they will just duck and launch you. But if you know your opponent likes to press, it is a good option. We also have another really good option with 1-3. So press 1-3, jab into a low, nice little check, good chunk of damage. It's only minus 12 or 13, I believe, so not launch punishable, but it's not the greatest because if you're doing like 1-2 and then they start ducking whenever you jab, this isn't going to be the solution to that, because if they duck, they're going to duck this too. But it is something worth knowing. A lot of times, like in a last hit situation, you can go for, 1-3. A lot of times in like a last hit situation, you can just go for this 1-3. They won't be expecting it and get a quick bit of damage. But overall, his jab is not the greatest, but naturally very important for his kits. And speaking about not having great tools, the down forward 1 is particularly weak on Claudio. That's kind of what his big weakness is. His poking is not the best. His down forward 1, it looks okay, but if we look at the frame data, it is 15 frames. The standard down forward 1 in Tekken 8 is 13 frames, so it's 2 frames slower. Meaning if you press down forward 1 and your opponent presses down forward 1, theirs is almost always going to come out first and beat yours. So not the greatest, definitely not the greatest, but its range is pretty decent, a lot better than the jab. It's a mid check, so you want to jab, make some up down forward 1, like every other character. We have a couple follow-ups. We have 2, which, as you can see here, minus 15, so launch punishable. It is very risky, but you get a full launch into damage. So definitely worth noting. A lot of times, like, you have been down forward running for a while, and you know your opponent likes to press buttons immediately after. Slide the 2 in there, get some damage, and get a full combo. Definitely want to be a little bit careful with this one though. You will get launched and you'll take a lot. Back 3 is basically his main poke. Because the down forward 1 is kind of weak, we use back 3. As you can see, it's 13 frames, same speed as a standard 1. So this is your good. This is your standard mid poke if you set it to block. It's completely safe, only minus 4. A couple things about this move. Range is not particularly good. I think it's a little bit better in Tekken 8 than it was in 7, but you do still have to be like pretty close to move connect. This is your main mid poke in this game. We have a follow-up. We can do back 3 and then another 3. So back 3, neutral, and then 3. You can't just mash 3 anymore. You have to press back 3, let go of the stick, and then press 3 again. For this, minus 12, and it is a middle extension. But what's cool about this is if we set him to counter hits, this is, you know your opponent presses, we get a knockdown. Boom. This used to be a counter hit launcher. Unfortunately, in Tekken 8, it's no longer. But if you do this and you miss and you know your opponent's going to press 3 again, and you get, press 3 again, and you get a good knockdown. Something worth noting there. Not the greatest, but it is definitely something. Okay, so back 1. This is arguably one of the best moves in the game. I'm sure if you guys have watched anything about Tekken 7, you know all about this move. This is probably Claudio's best move. It's definitely up there. As you can see, minus 5 on block. It's a mid, and it's so completely safe. It's very evasive, as you can see. He steps forward to do it, and then so completely safe. It's very evasive, as you can see. He steps forward to do it, and then he steps back. So you are like at a good range there. You're at a very good range. You can see that by the blue effects, this tracks. So if you know your opponent likes to sidestep, you can start throwing this out. And if we see on normal hits, boom. Very, very meaty. Look at that damage. That is not a bad amount of damage at all for just one move. Knocks down. This is particularly devastating at the wall, because if you hit this at the wall, you get a full wall splat. And honestly, I think it's actually just one of the best moves in the game at the wall. If you get your opponent to the wall and you just use this, it's safe, they can't punish, and they don't want to crouch. It beats everything, and it gets a wall splat, and you get ridiculous damage if this does hit. So one of the best moves in the game for sure. I have to say. It's your best mid, I think. So when you know your opponent's going to duck, and we'll get to why your opponent will be ducking soon. Great move to throw out neutral. Great move for pressure. Great move in pretty much every situation. Just an amazing move overall. Down forward 3, standard poke, good mid pressure. As we can see, we have a couple extensions off of this. It has good range too, at least better range than back 3. Pretty standard, safe, with a couple extensions. We can press 2, so down forward 3, 2 for a safe high. Obviously it can be ducked, but it is safe. And we can press 1 for an unsafe minus 12. But what's cool about this move is that it could be hit confirmed. So let's say you're just moving around, you throw out a down forward 3. You throw out a down forward 3. You have actually a lot of time to hit confirm this. Basically, hit confirm means that Because if they block the first hit, you don't want to go into this. If you do, it's -12 and you'll get punished.
Oh,
So, but because it's hit
okay.
confirmable, what that means is that you have enough time where you can actually see, like, oh, you can react to it with normal reaction time. You can say, oh, I hit this. Now let's press 1, and do the follow up. So this is a very strong move.
Claudio has
Again,
a lot
don't
of
want to be
those
using the
too,
one follow
actually.
up unless you can see that the first hit's connected. But you get a nice 30 damage.
Now it's just really
Definitely a pretty strong move.
learning
Again, Claudio
to
doesn't have any particularly
put everything
gimmicky
into
strings,
play.
they're more just for poking. But 2-1, boom boom, high mid, -6 on block, and then we have the other extension, which can catch your opponents very off guard. So if we do 2-1-2, boom, it is -13, so you have to be careful. But if we hit it, it is a full heat engager. So you want to be pressuring your opponent throughout the match with obviously back 3, down forward 3, 2-1, and then when they're not expecting it, 2-1-2, boom, heat engager. Very, very, very strong move. In terms of other heat engagers, we have 3-2, another very strong heat engager. It is a high, the last set's a high, so they can duck it, but I believe, what is this on block? -6, very safe on block. Back 2-1, another pretty good string, as we can see. This is a special low into a mid, completely safe, boom, boom, -9. So these are like your main options when it comes to poking in terms of like safe pokes. Again, nothing too gimmicky, pretty fundamental base, just very simple strings. Up 2, this is a very safe mid heat engager. It's very strong because generally when a character jumps, it's pretty good because it means it'll evade all lows. So any low my opponent uses, if we just press up 2, boom, completely goes over any lows our opponent tries to press. And as you can see by the animation, heat engager, boom, gets you straight into the fight. Safe on block heat engager, what's not to like? Very, very, very good. Forward 3, this is significantly nerfed from Tekken 7, but it is still strong. As we can see, this is kind of like the high counterpart. So we talked about back 1 and how broken this is. This was the high mix-up that's safer. It's neutral on block. This used to be a counter hit. Launcher. Unfortunately, it is no longer. Now it just gives 14 frames, which means all we can get off of it is a down forward 3-1. Oops, we do this. This is guaranteed. So off counter hit, you do get guaranteed 41 damage. But even though it doesn't launch anymore, this move is still going to be a very important part of Claudio's kit, mainly because, again, as you can see, he jumps. Jumping is always good. Very evasive. It tracks, so if your opponent starts to sidestep, we have this to catch them, and this to catch them. And it is neutral on block, so it resets the situation. Neither player have any advantage. Very good move, I have to say. Back 4. This is an interesting move. As you can see, it's -14, so it sounds really bad, but it has a lot of follow-ups. A lot of follow-ups. And its range is actually pretty damn good. I have to say, pretty damn good. So, we don't want to use it by a lot of follow-ups. A lot of follow-ups. And its range is actually pretty damn good. I have to say, pretty damn good. So we don't want to use it by itself. Minus 14, that is no good. So press back 4 and then 1. Boom, you get a high that is +1 on block. Can be ducked, but +1 on block is like very good, and your opponents most likely won't be expecting this. That is one very good follow-up from it. We have a mid heat engager, only -11, and full heat engager. Boom. We have back 4. What is it? Back 4 is just a full launcher. Literally just gives you a full launch, no strings attached. What's not to like? And I think, yeah, those are the main options off of back 4. Good move to throw around. It's probably like your best range poke. So I can see people like from a distance using like back 4-1 to close the distance and get good frames. Definitely very strong. One more poke that I didn't mention is forward 4. This is a mid +4 on block. Very, very strong move. +4 on hit as well. Juicy damage. If you want frames, forward 4. You really can't go wrong with moves like this. Very, very plus. So those are Claudio's main pokes, but let's talk about some of his launchers, because Claudio has some of the best launchers in the game, starting with his hop kick. So his hop kick is up forward 4, and most characters do have a hop kick with up forward 4 that launches. Claudio's is the best in the game, and it's honestly not even close. Mainly just because it has some pretty insane range. Like, almost no other hop kicks will hit from where I'm standing. Usually with hop kicks, you have to be right in front of your opponent to actually get it to hit. But Claudio's, duh. Even slightly further, it'll hit, and you'll get, again, full launch into Claudio's damage. The reason why this move is so good is, again, yeah, because of its range, but also it's just such great keep out. Like, if you know your opponent keeps running into you, it's literally like a viable strategy. Run away and just wait for them to go in. Boom. You run in with me with anything, a demon paw, a low, anything. Boom. Hop kick, get my combo, get my damage started. Very, very strong move. A lot of Claudio players will see great success just like pretty much just using his pokes and just using this move, because it's such a strong move. Such an incredibly strong move. Only -13 on block. So, and that means A, you won't get launched. And a lot of players, especially in low ranks, don't know how to punish this move. They don't know how to punish this move at all. So it's definitely worth noting. Like, if you see your opponent isn't punishing it, don't be afraid to like throw out this move a lot. Mid as well, can't be ducked. Amazing. One of the best keep up moves. You'll be super surprised how many moves this just completely beats out. Super surprised. Sorry to interrupt the video. I just want to say really quick, if you guys are enjoying this content and are interested in more Tekken 8 beginners guides, please consider subscribing to support me. Only about 7% of my viewers are actually subscribed, and I'm trying to make this YouTube thing work out for me. So if you are enjoying this content, it's free to do, and you can always change your mind later if you don't like my future content. It really means the world to me. Anyway, back to the video. Another good launcher, this is a counter hit launcher, is Gan Forward 2. This move is -13, so it's unsafe on block. But if we see, it's very quick, and we see counter hit, boom, you get a full launch. It's actually very fast at 14 frames. So if you're just like jabbing, using your down forward 1, poking your opponent, and you know they're going to press, you can use this. Again, if we go to block, it is unsafe at -13, but a lot of players won't even know to punish this. So if you can get away with using this, it is a good counter hit tool. Just be aware, like if you know your opponent's punishing it every time, and you're not getting good counter hit value, you don't want to use this move as much. But it is pretty good. In terms of other launchers, obviously, while standing 2, just a standard 15 frame launcher. What's cool about this one is it gives you Starburst immediately, and obviously you get a full combo. So good for beating jabs and used for crouch punishment, which we'll talk about later. So I just said Starburst. You're probably wondering what Starburst is. So Starburst is actually a unique mechanic, only to Claudio. Now, don't get too worried. It's very, very simple. A lot of people seem to think that Starburst is like a super complicated mechanic. It's really not. Claudio is still a great character for beginners, but basically, after hitting certain moves, if we set it to here, after hitting certain moves, his hand will glow, he'll make a sound, and as you can see, his hand is glowing blue. This means he has Starburst. This Starburst will enhance a couple of his moves. Not too many, but it'll enhance a couple of his moves, giving them new effects, which we're going to go over. But generally speaking, in terms of the Starburst effects, it gives you one chance. So once you use one of the moves that's enhanced by Starburst, you lose it. So if we use forward 1+2, as you can see, there's like an animation and the Starburst is gone. My hand is no longer glowing. So yeah, we use the Starburst, we get an empowered attack, we use it once, and then it is gone. However, new to Tekken 8, while we're in heat, his hand always glows. And basically, you can keep using it as much as you want until the heat runs out. So yeah, this is brand new. It means when you're in heat, you don't have to worry too much about wasting Starburst, because you can just keep going. You can keep using it, making his pressure very, very good in heat, which again, we'll talk about a little bit later. But he has some of the best heat pressure in the game because of this, because Starburst was already such a great mechanic in Tekken 7, but along with heat, just giving him Starburst like permanently until the heat ends, we get some very, very devastating attacks. So we'll talk about let's talk about Claudio's most well-known move, and that is while running 2. As you can see there, +6 on block. While running, so if you don't know, while running just means press forward 3 times. So forward, forward, forward 3 times, and then press 2. Now, this used to be pretty difficult to do. In Tekken 7, doing it while right next to your opponent actually required like a lot of execution. Tekken 8, no longer. It's very, very easy to get while running attacks right in front of your opponent. So all you have to do is just stand in front of your opponent, or as far away as you want, press it 3 times, forward, 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 2. One of the best moves in the game, and one of Claudio's most iconic moves. +6 on block, and it gives chip damage in the top right, as you can see. Very, very, very strong move. +6, as we can see on hit. Boom. Heat engager. And look at that damage. That is a lot of damage. Definitely something to write home about. And while you're in heat, this move is also enhanced, as you can see. Way more damage, and also, I believe it's more safe on block as well. And yeah, you can do a heat dash out of it. A lot of options. This is definitely one of Claudio's best moves. The only real weakness about this move is it is a high, as you can see. And I'm sure you can imagine it's pretty devastating at the wall, but it is a high. So if you use this a lot, your opponents are going to want to start ducking you, and that's when we incorporate our very strong mids like back 1 and hop kick, which we've been talking about. So kind of a bit of a mix-up game there. Pretty simple, but yeah, just if your opponent starts to duck these, which a lot of people just won't, you want to start keeping that in mind, that you use your other very strong moves. Yeah, but overall, while running 2, insanely strong. Let's talk about some other moves. Up forward 3, very strong move. Another safe mid that evades lows and does very good chip damage, as you can see. Definitely something worth writing home about. In terms of bonus Starburst effects, so again, we get Starburst. The main way you'll be doing it is through your 12-frame punish, which is forward 2-2. You get Starburst this way. There's a couple of very cool effects. So, number 1, his forward 1+2, 1+2, so you press forward 1+2, 1+2, becomes a full launcher. If we use this normally, all we get is a knockdown, we don't get a launch. But if we're in Starburst, we get a full launch, which and you can go into all of your full combo damage, and I believe it also becomes safe on block, right? So normally forward 1+2, 1+2 is -14, but if we're in heat or Starburst, remember this applies to heat as well, only -9 becomes safe on block. Very, 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 very good move, especially for whiff punishing while you're in Starburst. If you know your opponent's going to walk up, boom, boom, and you can follow up with a full combo. We also have a couple of other stuff. His heat smash is a low. Look at that. Low heat smashes are always good. Basically a Paul Demo Man. And I believe it's pretty safe on block, right? Let's see. Oops. Now we gotta do crouching block. Only -14, so not launch punishable against most characters, and you get 40 damage if you hit it. Very great heat smash. Low heat smashes are excellent in this game. Down back, 1+2. This is a regular counter hit launcher that's very unsafe, I believe, if we do -12. However, if we are in heat or Starburst, down back 1+2 becomes only -2, and I believe it's a launcher on normal hits? See if I'm getting that right. Yeah, it becomes a launcher on normal hits, which is very, very good. So, this and like a couple other moves become stronger in Starburst. It's not a ton, but yeah, just keep these in mind. And you won't remember all this for now, but just as time goes on, just kind of try to remember it more and more. Something else that's interesting is Starburst 4-2 is a brand new projectile. So if you're in heat or you're in Starburst, and you press 4 and 2, we have a bow and arrow. Isn't that interesting? Claudio's never had a projectile before, but as you can see, look at this range. I mean, it's a projectile, obviously. Boom. Great for keep out. So if you're just like playing hop kick base and your opponent runs to you, 4-2, boom. And obviously they can't punish it because it's just so far. So very, very good projectile. Now let's talk about lows, because we haven't really talked about that. Claudio's lows are not the greatest. It is a lot better now that he has the low heat smash to threaten with while he's in heat. We have sidestep 4 is probably still his best low. It stays the same from Tekken 7. Plus 6 on hits. I believe it's only, what is it, minus? Oops. Keep doing standing block. I believe it's only minus 12, not launch punishable on block. And on counter hit, I think it gives a big knockdown, right? Yeah, big knockdown on counter hit. Very, very good low. Definitely his best low, I'd say. We have down back 3. Quick low, evades highs. I believe, I don't think it's a counter hit launcher anymore. Actually, I think it still is. Okay, yeah, so you do get a full launch off of this on counter hit. Down back 3, full counter hit launcher. Nice move. It is kind of slow and it's very minus. I'm guessing this is going to be fully launch punishable. It should be. Yeah, minus 15. So unsafe, but it is something worth noting. We have down 2-2, only minus 13. This was actually nerfed a lot. This used to be a full launcher in Starburst. It is no longer, but quick, just 2 hit, boom, boom.